Welcome to Disc Sand Land. Now don't forget those safety glasses to tie that hair up and remove any long, loose items of clothing or jewelry. From here, turn that extraction system on, and of course, let's get sanding. You want to sand down to that line, keeping a nice sweeping motion going across to get a nice smooth curve. If it's not a nice smooth curve, it does look awkward and it will show on your final piece. After you've done that and you're happy with that, double check and then let's get cracking. We're going to prep for drilling the hole now into our leather. Now to do that, what you're going to need to come through and do is of course get your little washer and place it in the center of your pieces of timber. You want to have it about 2 millimeters back from the front edge, and then from there you want to mark the center line. As you can see, there's 2 millimeters on all sides there. Mark the center spot where you think you should drill. Take it off, check that looks central to you, and then of course double check by putting that washer back on to make sure that it is indeed exactly where you want it, because once you drill this, there's no going back. For this, you're going to want to drill this with a 3.5 millimeter drill bit. You could of course use a drill press for this, but because the area in which we're wanting to drill is actually such a small area, because there's about 3 mil of leather to drill through, we're just going to use the cordless drill here. You could also go through and clamp this in a vise. In fact, that would be an ideal situation. However, I didn't want to move the camera, so you're seeing it done like this. After you've drilled, go through, pull those two pieces apart, and inspect your handiwork. You should have a hole going through both sides. We're now looking at fasteners, and you could use just a brass screw. It looks fine. To improve that screw, you can of course put a washer on there. Adds a bit more detail to it, making it look a little bit tastier. But finally, the hero level is of course using a brass cheese-headed bolt, and it looks schmick. Now the 2.5 millimeter hole in the top of our project was actually set up for the screw. The hole that's going to be required for the cheese-headed bolt is 3.5 millimeters. Now that's because the thread on this bolt is just slightly wider or larger than 3.5 millimeters, so it can still dig in. To set this up, you're going to want to get your drill. We're still going to go through and use a hand drill here, and you're going to want to apply some tape at the 15 millimeter mark in, leaving 15 millimeters of drill space. This is one technique, and of course you could definitely go through and use a drill press for this instead. We're then going to use that tape as a guide so that we drill just down to the edge of that tape and then drill straight back up, meaning that we're not going too far in. It is a bit of a riskier move than using a drill press, but I have faith in myself. I also have faith in you that you can do it without going the whole way through. After you've gone through and done that, it's time to cut down the cheese-headed bolt because it is too long. At least the one I have is too long for the hole. So to do this, you're going to get a couple of pieces of scrap timber. Go ahead and place that into those two pieces of timber. This is going to save your vise, and then also make sure that you've left 15 millimeters of screw or of bolt sticking out the top. From there, you're going to need to get your hacksaw. Now, a hacksaw is very different from a tenon saw, a dovetail saw, or a coping saw. This is a hacksaw, and as you can see, it's got a thin metal blade, especially made for cutting metals. Now, it is a brass screw, so we're going to go through, and it should cut through pretty quickly. When you're going through, if you've got a metal vise handy, do use a metal vise. It's a much better system than this. It's time to go through and assemble the bolt with the washer onto your leather, like so. After you've done that, it's time to insert it. That's right, guys. We're up to the finishing last moment process of assembling our lovely door stop. So you need a flathead screwdriver and go through very carefully, ensuring not to slip off and damage your door stop, and do that up until it's nice and firm in the hole. After it's done, you have completed your doorstop, and this is what it should look like. Whoa, but before we get into it, it is time to give a shout out to a local legend, an absolute champ, and someone who supported me in this YouTube channel. I just want to give a massive shout out to Chase. Thank you so much, Chase, for all your time, energy, and affirmations when it comes to this channel. Hope you have a great day and enjoy the woodwork experience. Now, let's get back into it. Are you serious? Check this thing out. That is delicious and nutritious. And no, it's not fictitious because you can make it right here, right now. Follow the tutorials and get it done. As you can see, this is smooth. It's got a nice round front there. It's got a beautiful taper coming down the side. It's got filleted edges all around except of course on the base. It's got a black leather base for a non-slip surface. And of course, it's got some brass detailing and that tasty as little pull tab. Guys, congratulations on finishing this off. I hope you've had a great time and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode of the Woodwork Experience.